We had to cross the 7 seas. No, we didn't. We just crossed some highways and byways of northeastern Alabama and navigated our way to Atlanta, GA. Ursher said, peace up, A-Town down. We up in here for SEC Media Days. Yeah, I said up in here. This is just, we're all family here. We can just talk how we want to talk sometimes in context. Carl Prather, producer Pat, take after take, back, SEC edition. We're recording on the first evening of the first day of SEC Media Days as 4 teams graced us with their respective presence. LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Patrick, your first initial thoughts of the day. More importantly, what is your initial theme of the entire week?
I'm probably going to be tired. That's number one.
You ain't lying.
Number 2 is all the quarterbacks, all the stars that are here at SEC Media Days. We haven't even – today we got Nussmeier and Lenore Sellers. Arch Manning's coming.
Yep.
We got what could be a potential star to this upcoming season. Austin Simmons was here today.
Yep. Who
some people might be sleeping on. We'll have DJ Lagway here in a couple days.
Yep.
And then that's not even talk about the coaches. I mean, DeBoer, Brian Kelly, Kiffin, Sarkisian, like they're all here. Like the SEC is loaded with stars, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, so there have been a number of years, and this is no disrespect to any of the institutions here, back when we had 14 teams, now with 16, Oklahoma and Texas being in the fold. There have been years where, to be brutally honest, some of our programs within the league may not have brought the stars that we have, quote-unquote, been wanting to hear from. No disrespect to any player or student athlete that had the opportunity to experience SEC Media Days. But overall, we come here to hear from the playmakers, the stars, the players that you will be expecting to see ball out in the fall. And much like yourself, this week I've just been very excited and encouraged coming here because we have stars, and the stars are the quarterbacks. There are still amazing players. Patrick, you know how I feel about Wood Weeks at LSU. I think he is as dynamic of a linebacker. And what I mean by dynamic, I'm not acting like, he's some sort of freak athlete. But with all of that said, the dude just makes plays. I think he had over 120-something tackles before he had his ankle injury. I love Wood Weeks. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
That reminds me of, what's the movie? I Love Brian Piccolo.
Song? No, I don't know that song. Did you ever watch Brian's song?
No, I'm talking about Gail Sayers, the movie.
I know, it's called Brian's Song.
Yeah.
Bro, we weren't even around when that movie came out.
Well, they remade it, but that's a famous line. Like, I love Brian Piccolo. The way you said it just reminded me.
I don't know.
Never mind.
I don't know.
My bad.
Yeah.
Trains off the tracks.
Yeah. You said something about the program, and Latimer and you remember that? You were too young for that.
What's that, Shaq?
No, that's Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
Program had James Conner as the quarterback, and you had it was amazing. You got to watch that. Came out in the early 90s.
I haven't seen that one.
Pretty legit. We were off the tracks. Who cares? Yes, for me, there are other stars, not QB1s, that are here. And it's okay. I like a lot of players that will be here this week. But it's all about these signal callers because we mentioned it in the spring. This collection of quarterbacks this season, you're going to have some guys that are going to win some games they have no business winning. And we can dance around, momentum did this, or this play, this team would have won if not for this play. No, I think that there are going to be guys, Taylor Greens of the world, the DJ Lagways of the world, the Austin Simmons of the world, that are going to perform at a level that they're going to push said program over the edge for a victory or 3. And it was really cool to see each one of these programs bring quarterbacks that are either established or have a little bit of a sample size that makes you go wow, a la Austin Simmons with him. His arm talent looks crazy. We remember the Georgia game where he stepped in for a series. It is what it is. People think it's just a series. Okay, that's fine. How many quarterbacks have you seen under Kirby Smart or Alabama when a backup comes in and they just get disintegrated? This guy came in and just marched said offense down the field for a score. So listen, that's what excites me. The quarterbacks excite me. We had an opportunity to hear from Brian Kelly earlier today discussing one Garrett Nussmeier, and Coach Kelly very, very excited not only for Garrett and having a signal caller return back to LSU, but a guy that has played a lot of football and made a lot of big plays with still a ton of upside left as he heads into another season.
He's waited for this opportunity. He loves LSU. And so you want to follow a guy like that because he's got all the things that you're looking for in a player. Committed, passionate, focused. He's got leadership ability. And he can whip the ball around the yard when you need to. Now, the thing that he brings to the table, as I've said in many of these settings, experience is the best teacher. And he's got experience. And he's got some adversity that he had to overcome along the way. I will take that kind of quarterback anytime in the SEC. Because when you go on the road, when you start with Death Valley, you bring a freshman into Death Valley, you better be ready for the backup to get in there too. That's my point, is that experience and a guy that has the traits that represent LSU is our starting quarterback. How cool is that?
Coach Kelly discussing Garrett Nussmeier and his experience. It was really cool to hear him discuss, much like we all know, listen, the last thing you want to do is when you're having to play a top 5 opponent in game 1, August 30th at Clemson, is to go on the road against an unproven guy in that environment. When you or somebody like Garrett Nussmeier and has played in this league and been a starter for a full season last year, played in some big games, won some big games because of your arm, lost some games because of some mistakes that you've made. It's still better to have a guy that's had some sort of experience as you head on the road in a top 5 matchup to start the season and on August 30th, Patrick.
Yeah, and with Nussmeier, he is the next guy to step in after 2 legendary LSU quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels. And so a lot of pressure now is on him. Will he be potentially the 3rd quarterback to end up winning the Heisman Trophy this season?
Are you taking any other quarterback? Are you taking right now? Is he numero uno for you in the league? He's number 1 for me in the league.
He's number 1 for me in the league, and he's probably number 1 in the country. I know a lot of people I've seen recently, and I don't know how his draft stock has risen since no one's played any football, but Drew Aller from Penn State, his kind of shot up a lot of boards, and a lot of people that I respect that talk about the NFL have talked about him. I personally do not see it with that guy because I watched Penn State last year, and he didn't really stand out to me that much, but I know he's highly rated in the college football game. A lot of people like him. I would take Nussmeier. I would take Arch Manning. I would take Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway, all those guys over Drew Aller.
I think Drew Aller's really good. I think what may cloud anyone's judgment is some of the mistakes that he made relative to the Notre Dame game a year ago. That sticks out. And then you look at some of his other contests where it's a big game that he doesn't – put it this way. He doesn't do enough for some in a game at home against Ohio State that you would love to see him, produce a little bit more, right? So I think, listen, he could do it. He could do a lot for the perception of one Drew Aller heading into this year. They should be either number 1 or number 2 in the country when this year starts. It should be Penn State or Texas, in my opinion.
Oh, you don't think it'd be Ohio State?
No. Too many questions, man. Yes. Ohio State's roster is incredibly talented, but I mean, there's a lot of improving guys on that roster. You're breaking in a new quarterback. Yes, you have the best wide receiver and arguably the best player in college football, but there's a lot of unknowns there with that program relative to the amount of, basically, people have discussed, that last year's team being a super team with all of the talent. Yes, Caleb Downs returns for them. He's one of the best players as well. So you arguably have two of the best 5 football players in college football. But there's just a lot more that goes into it relative to Ohio State continue to uphold that standard. They got players. Let's not be dumb and act like they're not going to win 10 games at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they go 8, they win 8 or below, then you're like, whoa. But they can roll out of bed. And it's no disrespect to the other programs, but like it just is what it is. They can roll out of bed and win 9 games. Like who is beating Ohio State when you look at like Ohio State as I pull out my trusty college football Bible a la the Phil Steele college football magazine. We hope to get Phil on later this month before the season starts. But like legitimately, who's beating them? Okay. Texas could beat them first game of the year. But that's at home.
Which is we haven't even, we'll talk about later the crazy week 1 slate
August
that
30
is college
stupid.
football.
Listen, let me tell you. Hey. Significant others, husbands, wives, listen, if you're a lover of college football and your spouse may not be a lover of college football, said spouse is not a lover of college football, make sure that everything is done and out of the way that Saturday. Nobody wants to be bothered.
Luckily, it's still too hot to go to any kind of like pumpkin patch or do anything outdoors in Alabama. It's August 30th, so it's still 100 degrees.
Y'all done did some of them pumpkin patch pictures? We hadn't done those yet.
Not this year, but we did them last year. We did them in like middle of September when it was still like 92.
You missed the Saturday of college football?
Sweating.
Miss Amanda had you go out there?
Yeah, but we planned it right to where it wasn't a big. I don't remember what. Yeah.
Who on social media is going to be upset at said wedding reception on August 30th this year? Because people are going to have weddings in the fall.
Yeah, that's what you just don't. You just send a nice gift and.
No question. I'm suited and booted. I'm not missing what that day.
Yeah.
No sir. Texas, yes. Grambling, no. Ohio, no. At Washington after a bye. Tricky, could be interesting for a quarter and a half or 2 quarters. Washington has an opportunity to be pretty good under Jet Fish. Minnesota, no. At Illinois, yes. At Wisconsin, back to back. I don't know what Wisconsin is. That game traditionally in years past when Ohio State plays Wisconsin, that game goes down to the fourth quarter, middle of the fourth quarter. Did the same a couple of years ago. The other one, Penn State, it's at home. At Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and at Michigan. Worst case scenario, you're losing 3 games. Texas, Illinois, Penn State, and then, of course, the Michigan game is a toss-up. So, okay, worst case scenario, you're 8-4. You mean to tell me they're not going to at least split or win 3 of the 4 of those games that you lose?
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably win 10 or 11 games.
Right. Yeah, all right. But with all that said, could we make an argument that Penn State's roster starting 22 is better than Ohio State's starting 22? I mean, offensive line, going to be pretty darn good. Running backs, yes.
Yeah.
Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, silly. A veteran quarterback that's seen everything. Love the offense with what they're able to do on offense. Linebackers, solid. Defensive line is going to be really good. Denai Dennis, Sutton, Zane Durant. I mean, listen. No one wants to talk about it. I personally think Penn State starting 22 and Ohio State starting 22. I'm taking Penn State starting 22 this year. Now, I'm not saying the whole entire roster, but they're starting 22 against Ohio State starting 22. I'm taking Ohio State starting 22.
Are you taking Penn State over anybody in the SEC?
No.
Who in the SEC would you take over?
Over Penn State?
Yeah.
Texas, Georgia, Alabama.
Are you buying are you jumping on the South Carolina hype train that's starting to take off?
They have 2 erasers. I love erasers in college football. I do. And when I mean erasers, I mean men that can change the course of a game because they're that impactful. Listen, we heard from Lenore Sellers, and Lenore's was man, what a classy young man. Excellent young man. I just love the calmness that he like exudes throughout today when we had the opportunity to hear him this morning. You know, I love the growth that he made, especially from the Alabama game on. But we have to remember something. There were a lot of pieces around Lenore Sellers that made that look better than what it potentially was. There's this kid named Dylan Stewart that could be an eraser that showed that he's a load on that side. But you know what helped him? There's a young man by the last name of Kennard that really helped him on the other end. They had two safeties back there that went to the NFL. Raheem Rocker Sanders, who was nicked up at Arkansas, came in and played fantastic. They have a tight end, folks, that no one in the world. I know. Listen, I love college football. I didn't know anything about this kid coming in at tight end last year and showing up and showing out for them a season ago. So you look across the board and you say to yourself, there were a lot of things that like legitimately helped this team. They had five starters coming back on defense, right? And that defense did a lot. I mean, just think about for Alabama fans. Think about the Alabama game. Now, I mean, there were some errant throws from when Jalen Milroe, but they intercepted the pass in the end zone. You know, in that game in the first half. You know, so like I say all of that to say there were about 4 to 5 shed tackles from Lenore Sellers in the Alabama game, the Clemson game, the end of the year. Go back and look at the fourth quarter of the Clemson game. Some of the plays he made. Now those are the eraser type plays, but what if he gets sacked in one of those?
Yeah.
That changes the complexity of like the season as it is for South Carolina as they were trying to like run the table after the Alabama game, which they did. So I like what Lenore's is doing, a trajectory of what he's doing. I think he's going to be fantastic. I just want to continue to see him grow. But more importantly, I think this year you're going to have to see him, much like the Clemson game, win some games. Like, can you continue to traject as a eraser type kid? And you got a tough game. I mean, listen, it's going to be an interesting game. First game of the year, Labor Day weekend at Sunday is going to be against Virginia Tech here in Atlanta. So I'm excited about that. But you look at their schedule, August 31st, Virginia on the neutral site. They got South Carolina State. They host Vanderbilt. They're at Missouri that no one is talking about, that potentially could have a chance to be really, really good roster-wise. Kentucky at home, bye at LSU. You got Oklahoma now. This is the stretch. How about the month of October? You want this? You like that? As Kirk Cousins just said, October 11th at LSU. October 18th, he hosts Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming to Columbia for the first time. Shane was an assistant there at Oklahoma. Alabama at home. And then you have to go to Ole Miss. That's your October and the first game of November. And then you have a bye, and then you play at Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina, and then Clemson. You know, this could go a number of ways. You have a fantastic October. We're talking about national championship college football, deep college football playoff run.
Yeah.
You don't. You talking about 6 wins.
Yeah.
That quickly. This could go left or right. No one can emphatically say that, hey, I put it this way. We're going to hear from Steve Sarkisian and company on Tuesday. We're recording this late Monday night. I bet you there's no one in this entire building, any media member, that believes Texas is not going to playoff. Like, you emphatically know.
Yeah.
Unless they lose 10 players, that they're not going to the playoff. You know that is the surefire, like, to me, the team that no matter what, they're going to the playoff. There's question marks for some other programs, but that one's going. And that's why I just say, like, you know, I think South Carolina, and I love Shane. I love how he defends his program. I love the work that he's done with this program. Very, very good moves within the transfer portal to help expedite the situation. But ultimately, Patrick, like, there's just too many questions. How does anyone know? How does anyone know? I mean, like, how do you know what South Carolina is going to be? Hell, we didn't even know what it was last year. You didn't know what this looked like. We saw them lose Ole Miss. Like, we didn't know. We didn't know what this looked like a year ago. And, you know, I just want everyone to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, because we just need to see.
Well, there ain't no pumping the brakes. This train has left the station.
I mean, the expectations for South Carolina, man.
I mean, this has to be I don't know. I mean, I can't think of another time South Carolina was this sort of highly touted, right?
That 3-year span with Spurrier, 10, 11, 12. That I think they won. Believe my memory serves me correctly. I think they won 10 straight. I mean, like just stone cold, abominable snowmen on offense and defense at that time. It reached an SEC championship game in 2010, lost to, and all it took was one Cam Newton. It took a Cam Newton to defeat that team. That's how loaded they were.
Yeah.
It's just been a masterful job what Shane has done. Two wins coming into his first year. They go to the Mayo Bowl, win 7. He's went 7, 8, 5, and 23, and then 9 last year.
And that's what happens when you get a difference maker at quarterback.
That's fair.
You win, you win 4 more games than what you probably should have.
But my goodness, I mean, listen, I just read the schedule off to you, Patrick. 9, they won 9 last year.
Yeah.
October, November, my brother.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be, if they come away with, running the table that month of October, they will find themselves in the top 5.
They're in the playoff.
For sure. Yeah.
But look, if I tell a South Carolina fan right now that, let's just say for the sake of argument, you are 1, 2, 3, 4, you are 5-0 on your bye week and you're going to LSU, and I say that you lose to LSU and win some sort of combination of 2 of these 3, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, and then another bye week and you're at Texas A&M, you're in the playoff.
Yeah.
We'll see. We had an opportunity to hear from one Lenore Sellers earlier today as well, discussing the amazing atmosphere of Williams-Brice Stadium for each and every South Carolina Gamecock home game.
I think it's just our fans. They play like a significant role. Just when teams are on offense, they're super loud, chaotic, and then they're staying in it like pretty much the whole game. It's not like it's high or it's low. It's kind of like no matter what, they're always loud and then into the game.
I just love the steadiness and just the calming effect that Lenore Sellers has. Class personified. There have been a number of reports, Patrick, of him, commanding $4.5 million to leave South Carolina, and he mentioned it today during our time with him with the electronic media, local television. That hey, I have everything. I have everything that I need in South Carolina to thrive and succeed.
Who was offering that 4.5?
What'd you say?
Who was offering him that 4.5?
You think it's someone within the league?
Or is it an Ohio State and Oregon? Is it one of these other big-time programs that maybe have some question marks at quarterback?
I don't think it was. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I don't think it was Oregon because I think they really have some tremendous. They have tremendous confidence in one Dante Moore, and Dante's been in that program for a year now. It's going to be his show. I could see. I mean, I don't know this. We're just 1.5 persons going to hear this and going to be like, some podcasts. I was going to say something worse. Some podcasts are saying that Lenore Sellers could have went to Ohio State. No, we're just like.
I guarantee you Ohio State would have taken him. if he wanted to go. They would have taken him. There's probably you can count on one hand the amount of programs in this country that wouldn't take Lenore Sellers.
That would not take Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, wouldn't take him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of last year. If someone's offering you $4.5 million, you have to have the squadouche to get the $4.5 million. Meaning you have to be a power program.
Yeah. We
actually heard from. Listen, I never got to hear him and be close to this guy. With him making a monster splash within the league last year in Diego Pavia, but super cool to hear him and his passion for the game. But more importantly, Clark Lee, the head coach for Vanderbilt, mentioned it, and you could tell his demeanor, the way he carries himself, the way he goes about his business resonates within that Vanderbilt Commodores football program. And you can tell his confidence has rubbed off on the entire program.
Yep.
And I think the special ones, the influential ones, always do that. Your chest is poked out a little bit bigger. Your shoulders are leaned back a little bit farther. You walk with a little bit more of a swag. And none of that matters when you get your face ran over. But you could just legitimately watch Vanderbilt last year and just the way that they played with Diego under center. Got nicked up against in the Kentucky game, wasn't the same. He mentioned that, but your thoughts on Diego Pavia just is I like Diego Pavia because you can tell a kid that probably didn't grow up with football on his mind, and he just happened to be good at it down the line. Like it's a unique take from him when I would listen to him. He just has a unique way about explaining the game of football and embracing being the villain for everyone not outside of the Vanderbilt lockers.
Yeah, I mean he would be a really good heel, except he's so likable. He's also the starting quarterback on the most underdog team in the SEC historically in Vanderbilt. So like people kind of have they just like rooting for those guys. And I know someone asked him a question today about do they can still consider themselves an underdog coming off the success of last season? And of course you get sort of the walk the line answer of, oh, we go into every single game thinking we're going to win, which is, sure, when you're a player, you have to think that, at least going into the game. But at some point, like if you're a historically bad team, at some point in the first quarter when things start going bad, you're like, oh, yeah, we suck. we're gonna lose. But I do think that Vanderbilt has turned a corner, and I do think it is because of Clark Lee and Diego Pavia. Like, you do not take down a number one ranked Alabama team and not have that change you and your program in some type of way. And my man was in a tuxedo today.
He was in a tuxedo. I didn't even pay attention to that. I thought it was just like he had a full-fledged tuxedo on.
Tuxedo, two earrings, studs, diamond studs. Also, I walked by Diego going to the bathroom, not that much taller than me.
Which makes him that much more.
And I'm short.
Amazing.
I'm 5. I'll say I'm 5'8".
Bro, you 5'8"?
I mean, I'm going to say that I am.
All right, cuz.
I mean, it's an audio podcast. Can't nobody see anything, so.
That's fair. Phil still has this Clark Lee bunch this season, number one on his experience chart, meaning this is an older team. I know everyone talks about Diego Pavia. I love Southeastern Conference football. I love, obviously, the game as a whole, more of a national level. Patrick, Cedric Alexander at running back, no one really discusses this young man. You don't hear anything about him. They do this media ballot voting. He will be on one of my all-SEC teams, probably, arguably, could be first or second team. He's no worse than second team. Excellent running back. Got juice. Don't hear a lot about him because of Diego. But you watch games, and he can flat out go and get it. He was outstanding last year. I know a lot of people discussing Eli Stowers at tight end, and rightfully so. A NFL prospect right now will be a top 2 pick in the draft. But, man, I just listen, we know they're going to compete. We know they're going to play exceptionally well.
They're not sneaking up on anybody this year.
But here's the thing. Okay, let's discuss that. This whole notion about you're not sneaking up on anybody. Well, what if Diego Pavia and this group and this coaching staff, his former coach at New Mexico, who's now on staff, who used to coach at Minnesota. I don't know why I'm drawing a freaking blank right now. My goodness. Tim Beck. Yeah, so Tim Beck was the OC in New Mexico State with Pavia. You got a special assistant. Why am I drawing a blank on Minnesota's old coach in Northern Illinois? You just call it out on the when you're listening to this in your earbuds. Anyhow, how do we know that this offense doesn't get more diverse? Everybody keeps talking about listen. If Phil still has this group as the most number one experience, it means you're old. Who's to say that you don't expound upon what you were able to accomplish last year? You remember, Diego Pavia got hurt in the Kentucky game after they beat Alabama. They win the game, but he gets nicked up. They beat Ball State, then they lose to Texas. Dude, they lose to Texas by 3. They beat Auburn, lose to South Carolina, lose to LSU 24-17, and then they lose to Tennessee. 9 starters back on offense, 8 back on defense.
What are you saying? Vanderbilt's going to make the playoff?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that.
Is that what you're saying? That's what it sounds like. That's what you're saying.
I'm not going to say that. Here's what I will say. I can count 1 guarantee, 2 guarantees, 3 guarantees. Yeah, I can only count 3 guarantees on here. Charleston Southern, at Virginia Tech, at South Carolina, Georgia State, Utah State, at Bama on October 4th. Bye. Hosting LSU, hosting Missouri, at Texas, Auburn for homecoming in Nashville. That'll be spicy. Bye week, Kentucky at Tennessee. Are they going bowling this year?
I mean, yeah, they went last year, so yeah.
They're going to be six. They're going to be 6 teams not named Charleston Southern, Georgia State, Utah State. They'll be Kentucky.
Yeah, they'll get three other ones.
So you mean to tell me in some sort of combination they're going to beat Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Alabama, LSU, Mizzou, Texas, Auburn, and Tennessee?
Yeah, they'll get 3 of them.
Okay.
They'll beat Tennessee. That'll be my
Final
prediction.
game of the year. That may be the one that gets him bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little heroic effort in his last time as a starting quarterback for Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia.
We had the opportunity to hear from Diego Pavia earlier this afternoon as Diego discussed continually to transform his body to be able to withstand some of the punishment and the rigors of Southeastern Conference football late in the year.
Being in the training room more, that's something that I worked on in this offseason, just to make sure my body's prepared. Because after that game, my production kind of fell off. And I got to be there for my teammates, and so they'll expect a lot out of me this year. And, we can't wait for this great season.
Yeah, Diego, just fun to watch. I really enjoyed him. I have been looking forward to just being able to have the opportunity to listen to him. I know we have a lot of colleagues in this business that cover games, so they get to be in meeting rooms, the whole nine. But yeah, that was cool. And I always have I have an affinity for Clark Lee because I have an affinity for a team I may or may not have in South Bend, Indiana. I used to be the defensive coordinator for said team in South Bend, Indiana. So always root for Clark Lee. And I definitely root for Vanderbilt. And, yes, I said that I'm rooting and not objectively for one Candace Story Lee. Candace Story Lee is the first black woman as athletic director in the Southeastern Conference. Has done amazing work with Vanderbilt. If you go on campus, you see cranes everywhere. The football facilities are continue to be enhanced. That'll be ready to go for this upcoming football season. That's exciting. The athletic department as a whole is just growing leaps and bounds. And Candace Story Lee is from Madison, Alabama, and is a proud Bob Jones alum. Played basketball at Vanderbilt during undergrad in the Music City as well. So yes, I root for them and hope that Candace Story Lee and they continue to kind of do well and continue to formulate and put Vanderbilt more than respectable, but kind of a tough out moving forward. Lane Kiffin, he was in the house. So
low energy Lane, that's what I'll call him today.
Yeah,
he looked out of it.
And I'll be honest, we didn't talk a lot of football with him in the electronic media room, which was bizarre.
Well, no, because everybody kept asking about the salary cap and expansion and tweets, and he was just honest. He was like, I have the tweets, I just do it for the lulz. And then he was like, expansion's a good thing. And then the salary cap, he's like, nobody's going to follow it. So it's pretty stupid.
The end.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, legitimately, no one asked him any football questions. There was not one question.
Nobody asked him about Austin Simmons.
No one asked him about Austin Simmons at all. Yeah. Caden Lee, no one asked him, what? No one asked him about anyone.
No.
The questions were legitimately tweets, college football playoff expansion, and
Nick Saban getting back into coaching.
Saban getting back to coaching, which we do need to touch upon.
Yes. So
one Greg McElroy, who does a weekday morning show, Mac and Cube, and of course you see him on the SEC Game of the Week and big games across college football. One way or another, was discussing that confidants that he trusted to know that Nick Saban believed that he may return back to coaching. I've always been on record to believe that there's no chance. I would be shocked if he never came back. I knew he was going to come back. And everybody's like, listen, would I be willing to put $100 on that? Yeah, I would have put a wild future on that. Just because I just thought that, for me, has nothing to do with him and his competitiveness. What it had to do with is I just think that there need to be some sort of rules in place for what we have now with the House settlement, so that there's at least some semblance of an equal playing field. So now I know the amount of money that I can have allotted to me in my program, and I also know that I can go through said clearinghouse and and continue to rack up even more dollars. Once I have those in place, I'll go find somewhere to go coach. And I think he's coming back to college. I do not think he's going to the NFL.
I don't think he would go to the NFL either.
But I do believe that he's going to return back to coaching. I would be shocked if he does not come back, or it doesn't get 97% close, and then he decides to turn it down. He's going to coach again, and it'll be an elite job, and he'll coach for another decade, and then he'll hang it up.
Where could it possibly go though? That would.
I'm not even going to remotely speculate on that.
You don't want to speculate?
No, I'm not going to do that.
But that's the whole fun of it, though. It's the whole
I mean,
point
you would
of
have
doing
to.
it.
You would have to think it's going to be a dominant. It's going to be a P4 conference. So it's going to be somewhere in the SEC or the Big Ten if he desires to. He's not going to the Big 12. Stop it.
No.
It's going to be one of those conferences.
But what job could possibly come open?
I'm not discussing any of that. I don't know, dude. All we're just saying is that the man's coming back.
Yeah, but you can't just say that and then just not point out any kind of, like, where he would be leaning.
Listen, this is not even a knock. Like, this is no, like, Greg McElroy said something and everyone just ran with it. But I just always just, it was just even a non-factor for me. I just always thought that Nick Saban was eventually going to come back to coaching and coaching college. There was not one time when he decided to retire and the way that he retired that I ever thought that he was not going to coach again. Never. There's not now. Like it's just a matter of fact. I'm glad that And Greg, listen, it was tongue in cheek, and everyone ran with it. Paul Feinbaum and him, Paul Feinbaum was like emphatically, no, he's not coming back. He's enjoying life. But listen, when you're a competitive person, you get that itch, man. I just never thought that he was not going to be done. He's going to return to college coaching. I'll be shocked if he goes to the NFL.
Yeah, maybe he changes course like his friend Belichick. I never thought Belichick would coach in college, and now here we are. And as of right now, Belichick is still the coach at UNC. That could change literally any moment.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I think Coach Saban comes back. Always have said that the day that he retired, he will be back. It just needs to be some things and some rules in place for him to be able to adequately go out and get said prospects, said players, and understand what he has on the table. So we shall see. So back to Lane. Listen, I discussed it. I think Austin Simmons could be a first or second team All SEC player. Ball just jumps off his hands. Pretty impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if he's first team All SEC. First or second team.
I mean, no. I mean, the quarterbacks are
talented, man.
He's talented, and then quarterbacks also just historically play well in Lane Kiffin's system.
Correct.
You look at what Jackson Dart did last year. I don't think anybody people thought Dart was a good player, but I don't think anybody would have said he was going to end up being a first-round draft pick. And then you look at a guy like Austin Simmons, who just from the onset looks like he is more talented than what Dart is. Now, the question is going to be, is the team around Austin as good as the team that was around Dart, particularly on the defensive side and in the trenches? That's going to be the question mark for Ole Miss this season. And again, also it comes down to, like, we talked about it last year, like, if it wasn't last year for Ole Miss, like, when is it going to be time for Kiffin and the Rebels? But
it goes back to what we were discussing about maybe potential erasers. We don't know what Austin Simmons eventually could be, but we see the talent there. That what if he's a dude and he kind of mask some of the inefficiencies they have, because six offensive players back and 6 defensive players back, and we know the type of money they spent on their roster a year ago. They went all in to try to win it. Or tried to reach the college football playoff this year. But listen, I'll tell you, Logan Diggs, who's a former Notre Dame football player, he's there with them. I love Caden Lee as well. I just don't see how they don't win 8-10 again, which is crazy. Georgia State.
Well, 8's not going to get it to 8. 8 is a terrible season. Ole Miss is not in the position to go back and win 8 games or 9 games.
Yes or no? Tell me win or loss. Georgia State.
Yes.
At Kentucky.
Yes.
Arkansas at home.
Yes.
Tulane at home.
Yes.
LSU at home.
Yes, because you know how I feel about Brian Kelly.
Bye week, Washington State.
Yes.
At Georgia.
And I won't see.
At Oklahoma.
And see, if Oklahoma, who we'll hear from later this week, and John Mateer is a guy, then Oklahoma, that becomes a really interesting game.
It goes back to, and we'll discuss John later in the week, but it just goes back to, he's got his offensive coordinator in Arbuckle and stuff. But, do we know if this is going to, really, pop off? We see the parts. We see John. You know how I feel about that, John Mateer. Outside of Nussmeier, John Mateer is the guy that I'm, riding with. But how do we know this works? How do we know this is going to go off without a hitch?
Well, one of these teams that all the media members are high on with these new quarterbacks, not all these teams are going to be good. So somebody's going to fall off.
Somebody's going to fall off.
Whether it's Oklahoma or whether it's Jackson Arnold and Auburn or Ole Miss and Austin Simmons. All of these teams are not going to win 10, 11 games. So somebody's going to take a huge setback or not live up to the potential that has been placed upon them before the season starts.
They open the year, Ole Miss, August 30th, they're going to host Georgia State. Got a busy slate for Tuesday. We will have another podcast ready for you on Wednesday morning. Just recapping day 2, kind of doing these the night of. Going to be an Auburn day tomorrow. Auburn Tigers will grace the ATL in the Omni as we hear from Hugh Freeze and Keldrick Falk, who is another one of my favorite players in the league. Jackson Arnold, the transfer from Oklahoma, and Connor Lew, one of the best offensive linemen in the Southeastern Conference as well. Georgia will be in the house along with the Tennessee Volunteers. And, of course, everybody with eyes on the Texas Longhorns and my favorite player in the league, Anthony Hill Jr., Arch Manning, and then let me see who else. I wonder who else they brought. Let me see, just be sure. Oh, Michael Taft. Good player. But, yep, Jackson Arnold, quarterback. People want to hear from him. We hope to get a one-on-one with him. Arch Manning, Gunnar Stockton. Quarterbacks, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear from all of these coaches because these are highly competitive guys with this group, much like the rest of everyone else in the league. But yeah, Auburn and Georgia get things started bright and early tomorrow morning. Your takeaway, one thing you would love to hear from Hugh Freeze or Jackson Arnold or the big fella Keldrick Falk, number 15, out there on defensive line.
I don't know. At some point, we're going to get to the point this week, and it happens every time I come to SEC Media Days. I'm kind of just over the football questions, and I just wish we would get into the dumb, stupid stuff. Because there's only so many times you can be like, "What do you? Team's looking good this year." Every coach at this point is like, the team has looked good.
Yeah, because what else do you say?
The guys are as close as they've ever been. This is the most talented group of guys I've ever coached. Everybody says the same thing.
Here's the thing that is hilarious. It's just the fact that, let's be real, y'all. What football coach is going to come to a media days?
Right.
Insert media days here.
This is a dog and pony show because there's no real football, and so we have to do something.
Correct.
And it's a pissing contest between the SEC and the Big Ten. Let's just call it what it is.
How dope would it be if we had spring practice or we have fall camp and then they come back and they have SEC? But they would still say the same thing.
They'd still say the same thing. I told you I would like to see a coach's combine.
Okay.
I want to see the coaches run the 40 and bench press and vertical jump and run routes on air. That's what I want to see.
You know, the only reason why they won't do it? You know, the only reason why they won't do it is because of the optics.
Somebody's going to tear an Achilles.
Or something, it doesn't go the way it should be as planned, or someone gets dominated and the fan bases are going to go crazy and it goes.
My money would be on Clark Lee.
Out of everybody in the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah, I'll take that coach. I think he's one of the younger ones, 43, stout.
Yeah, I would have took Kirby if it was just circa a decade ago.
Yeah, his time has come and gone.
Who else is in the league? Same thing with Sam Pittman. I think if Sam Pittman was 20 years younger, I would like my chances with that.
Sam Pittman needs to be a Bud Light contest for him, and I would pick him. Who can crush the most beers in 15 minutes?
What is wrong with you, man?
Because it's 1:00 in the morning Eastern time, and we got 3 more days of this.
12:10 Eastern time.
It feels like it's 1:00 in the morning. Which, if it's 12:10, that means it's Tuesday morning.
Can we end with this just so that our 2.5 people that listen to this, we find it very, very funny, take after take podcasters, listeners, that everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're going to this amazing city, Atlanta, or you're going to Dallas, or you're going to wherever. This is super cool. You're going to Nashville. Man, you get to hang out and stuff. Patrick, will you enlighten folks? Like, we are very fortunate to have these jobs and be able to go to things like this. We're not putting roofs on homes. We're not building homes. We're not working on putting blacktop down on the road in 100-degree temperature. But will you just enlighten everyone, like that they think like we're able to go to the finest restaurants and be able to have all this free time? Patrick, we work 15 to 17 hours for 4 straight days.
That's it. We have eaten at the same sports bar inside the hotel
every day
twice now, and we will eat it all 4 days that we're here. We have not seen the sunshine except for the one time we went out to do a live shot in the shade. The only thing that I've seen of Atlanta is walking across a sky bridge, and you get to see the backside of State Farm Arena and another street that. All the Beyonce fans, by the way, today were running up and down. That was kind of chaos there for like 15 minutes as everybody was trying to get to Mercedes-Benz for Beyonce.
And listen, kudos to everyone. Listen, we came here Sunday night, and we had, I believe, Morgan Wallen had been here. Beyonce had the first of 2 concerts on Friday. We had a WWE premium show on Sunday. We had there's someone else I'm missing that we had.
All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, of course, duh. We had the MLB All-Star Weekend. We just watched the Home Run Derby. Big Dumper won it. Cal Raleigh from the Mariners. So they have all of these things going on, and we haven't we haven't been able to see anything. We've been in a hotel room or in a conference room and walking back and forth. Like if we want to count our steps, that'd be pretty amazing.
And Eastern Time Zone is the worst.
No, first of all, don't do
it's
that.
The worst.
You're not going to disrespect.
No, it's the worst.
No, you're not. You're not going
Central Time Zone is the best.
No, it's not.
Followed by Pacific.
No,
but Eastern Time Zone is absolutely terrible.
Explain.
Because by the time we get done with our work, it's 9 o'clock at night.
Well, it's just part. Dude, I grew up in Eastern Time. It's like it is.
Yeah, it's awful. It's all, I feel for you. That's why you turned out the way you are.
Well, there's many reasons why I turned out the way that I am, dude.
Eastern Time. If you were growing up on Pacific Time, you probably would have been a lovely person. But Eastern Time Zone, you just hardened. Makes you hard. I'm tired.
Hold on. Of all the people in the world, you calling me hard? You are a darn cinder block. You know that. What's that dude's name on this new Fantastic Four movie? That Rockman.
The Thing.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you. You're the heart covered in the Thing.
You notice Brian Kelly didn't look at me today. And I saw him.
What you gonna do when they make the playoff?
I don't have to worry about that. They won't.
Before we get off.
Or I'll watch them burn in.
Before we get off here.
Spectacular fashion, the way that Brian Kelly teams often do.
I've listened to a lot of Brian Kelly speeches and or press conferences and or meeting of said media in the last decade of my life. I know. I feel like I have a good idea of his tone, his demeanor, how he feels.
The fact that he's trying to act like a real person.
No, he's not. That's just Brian Kelly. Like you didn't know anything about Brian Kelly besides the alleged bad things that happened. So I'm not even. We're not.
They're not alleged.
We're not getting.
First of all, number one, they're not alleged.
Why do you think
look it up on your own? They're not alleged.
That's fine.
It happened.
But he's a darn good football coach, and
sure.
Well, you believe that. There's just tangible evidence that he is. Like what? Like what part of him not being an excellent football coach?
I don't know. Show me his record against top 10 teams. You can chat GPT. It's not great.
Let's see it right here. Versus top 25 in his life as a head coach at the FBS level, he's 35-34 against top 25.
That sounds bad.
He is, but you know what he is? He's 184-74 as a coach overall.
Yeah, well, I don't care that he beats up on Mercer.
19-2 at LSU. Hold on. Because this is what this means for me. You're hold on. How in the world can you explain to me a guy that everywhere he's been, he's either reached the pinnacle or he's left him better than what he left him?
Well,
You just don't like Brian Kelly. There's a lot of coaches that you may not like, but he's just an excellent coach. That's cool.
I will.
But you can separate
I'll put
the
that
two.
bias up to the front. Yeah,
But you can separate the two though.
No, but I'm not. But I also think he's an overrated coach.
How?
Well, Marcus Freeman accomplished the same exact thing that he did at Notre Dame. So the fact that like Brian Kelly brought Notre Dame was also a historic powerhouse that he brought back, and then Notre
Dame was in the 19th century prior to him getting there.
Yeah, and then Marcus Freeman went to the national championship last year.
That's great.
So it can be done.
That's great.
And then you look at Cincinnati. Luke Fickell did the same thing.
Luke Fickell did what?
Luke Fickell did the same. He accomplished the same amount of stuff that at Cincinnati that Brian Kelly did.
Was it possible if Brian Kelly didn't lay the foundation for him to be successful?
Well, I mean, if you want to make that argument, sure.
Yeah, it's not an argument. Listen, Marcus Freeman is a flat out rock star. I've been on record to say that Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame are on absolute overdrive. But let's not act like Brian Kelly didn't put the foundation in place for Cincinnati, for Notre Dame, Central Michigan. Like what? Those places don't have the success that they've had without Brian Kelly being there.
You just read his career win percentage against top 25, and what was it, 35-34?
Yes, sir. I'm
not really good at math, but I think that's 500, and that's bad. Is it bad or is it not? Is it good? 500 win record, bad or good?
I have a question. If the places that he's been, a la Cincinnati, a la Central Michigan, the teams that he's getting absolutely killed by with inferior competition. I also remember him losing to Florida as an undefeated Cincinnati team with a guy named Tim Tebow. You taking Florida's roster or you taking Central Michigan's roster?
Well, I'll take Florida's roster. But what does that have to do with the fact that Brian Kelly's a coach and Brian Kelly now in LSU will go 9-4 again? Do you
realize what the dumpster fire that LSU was when he took that job? Are you crazy?
I mean, they won a championship in 2019, so how much of a dumpster fire was it?
Yeah, how was it?
Ed O just had allegedly his girlfriend hanging out at practice.
Yeah, okay. So
that
I'm glad you threw that out. Everybody likes Coach O. You thought that was going to be sustainable? No.
I don't know. But, hey, Coach A got a championship ring on his finger, don't
you think? Hold on. Okay? How about this? Next 5 seasons, you don't think Brian Kelly wins a national championship?
No, I don't.
I do.
I do not.
I do.
I do not. I'll take that bet.
Okay, cool.
I don't think he does. I don't think he is still the coach in Baton Rouge in 5 years.
That could be fair too. That could be true. Two things could be true.
And if we want to go back, full circle moment, I wouldn't be surprised if old Nick Saban does want to come back if he comes back to Baton Rouge.
He's not doing that.
Okay. Mark it down. Today's what? What's the date today? July
14, 2025.
Right.
Year our Lord.
Mark it down. Nick Saban find his way back to the swamp.
You just don't like Brian Kelly. But
I will admit that.
Going back to what I was saying, I've never seen this is as confident as I've seen him in. Goodness gracious, probably Notre Dame 20. Whew. This is confident I've seen him in close to 10 years. I mean, he was already on a heater in the main room at the College Football Hall of Fame. Then he turns around and comes to us like the confidence that he had, and rightfully so. That team's loaded, man, offensively. Now, listen, I don't know. From the secondary, I'm a little nervous. I don't know because I don't know the guys there that scare me. But that front seven, they arguably have the best linebacker in football in the SEC.
Yeah.
They arguably have a guy that has been up and down as far as his career. Patrick Payton is coming over from Florida State, who looks the part. I love Pyburn that came from Florida. Good player. We don't know what Harold Perkins is going to be because Harold Perkins has been nicked up, injured. We have zero clue. Here's what I do know. Last year, in each one of their games, as they finished 9-4. Hold on. Didn't he have the Heisman Trophy winner 2 years ago?
Yeah, and how many they won 9 games?
Yeah. How historically bad was that trash heap of a program that he
You've
inherited?
made this point several times on this podcast.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, but he's not a good coach.
No. He was in charge of hiring those coaches that coach the defense.
And every one of his games outside of 2 against Texas, against Alabama and Florida, he's scored at least 20 points. If I tell you right now that he has Garrett Nussmeier, Caden Durham, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, Barryon Brown, Bauer Sharp, and Donovan Green, who I really, really, Trades Green, who really flashed last year, just needs to be consistent, get a little stronger. I'm cool. I told you. We saw a graphic about choosing like these 3 different types of offenses.
Yeah.
Why couldn't this offense develop into that?
They might. They could. It's just.
I think that you would absolutely shave your head and go to a monastery if they win a national championship. You'll be done.
No, I mean,
he proved to you last year they can win big games. Let's not be silly now.
Well,
he showed you in your face.
I mean, yeah, they win big games and then they turn around and lose games they have no business losing, and they somehow always get back to 9-4. It's like no matter which way they go, they come back to the same spot.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Phil Steele's got the book right there. What have the records the past 2 seasons have been 9-4?
Hold on.
I might be giving her too much credit. Actually, I think they only won 8 games.
They won 9.
Last year they won 9. What was Jaden Daniels? Didn't they win 8?
They went.
They go back and back 9-4.
This is his 4th year there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. His first year they go 6-7.
Yeah.
I just want you to guess. See, this is the thing. This is when context matters. When you have just a pure and unadulterated hater right here that has no clue what the hell he's talking about. What do you think their record was in 22 and 23?
Probably. Didn't they win 10? They went what?
Back to back 10 wins.
10 wins.
Stop it.
Then 9-4. So they went backwards.
Stop it.
So
hold on.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Beat number 7 Florida. Beat number 6. Hey, didn't we see them go for 2 and beat Alabama Bryce Young and them?
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. So they beat 1, 2 top. Forget top 25. They beat 2 top 10 teams that year. They lose 50-30 to a historic Georgia team. 2023, 10-3. And then heaven forbid they lost one game less and did not reach the 10. I'll go on record. They're gonna win 10 this year.
Okay.
At least.
So the 10-3 and somehow still managed to miss out in the college football playoff.
Let me ask you a question. They beat Clemson first game of the year. Your thought would be what?
They beat Clemson. They'll find some way. Listen, Brian Kelly, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this one person in your family, right? It does not matter. You could give that person $10 million. At some point, they will still find themselves penniless, coming back, knocking on your door, asking for more money. They will always just find their way back to mediocrity and
when has Brian Kelly ever been mediocre?
Poverty.
When has Brian Kelly ever been mediocre? That's the problem.
I mean, last season was mediocre.
That's right. How? 9 wins? What?
Well, he had 4 losses. Didn't that get LSU fans already said that wasn't good enough for Les Miles to lose those many games?
Les Miles won a national championship with 2 losses. Are you what?
Yeah, and then they fired him when he started losing 4.
I'm going to go on a limb and tell you that LSU's not going to lose 4 games this year.
And I'm going on record to tell you Nick Saban will be the head coach in Louisiana State University in 3 seasons.
You also told me that Billy Napier was going to get fired last year. I looked at your face and said that, like Mario Probert said, that is a lie.
Well, I didn't know DJ Lagway was going to be good. If I'd have known that, I'd change my answer.
If you just listen to me sometimes, you would understand that, like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, but you said Auburn was going to make the playoff last year.
I did.
So maybe we shouldn't listen to you all the time.
No, you should. I mean, listen, turnovers are part of the game. I don't want, if you tell me that you're going to, if someone tells me, hey, we're going to give you the football these many times, you're not going to make the playoff. What? Don't do this. Listen, your judgment is clouded in hate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I won't deny that.
We've circled the damn block.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you finally just say that. Just say I don't like
always
that man.
admitted that. Yes, I'm a hater.
No, you haven't. Because you just say I don't care what he does. I don't like him. The end.
Yes, I don't care what he does. I will never like that man.
You don't have to like him, but you got to respect that man.
I don't have to do that either.
Yeah, you do.
No, he'll go 9-4 again this year, or 8-5. Nussmeier will somehow, he probably could still win the Heisman Trophy, be awesome in the NFL, and then you look back at that roster 10 years in college and you'd be like, why they were not good? Oh, it's because of Brian Kelly.
At Clemson, Louisiana Tech, Florida at home, Southeastern at Ole Miss bye week, South Carolina at Vandy, Texas A&M bye week, at Bama, Arkansas, the old Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, yours truly's alma mater, and at Oklahoma to end the year.
They're going to lose to Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Arkansas. That's my prediction.
I don't. If you told me this was in Fayetteville, I would look at it entirely different. That's it, their place. Can't get on board with that, big dog. If you tell me they lose to Clemson, if you tell me they trip up at Bama, and you tell me they trip up at Oklahoma and they're 10-3,
I don't think Clemson's going to be that good. That's not my thing. I think Cade Klubnik is overrated. But this is not ACC media days. We're the SEC.
Well, they're going to playoffs, sir. So there's that. They will be in the playoff. No one. I mean, that's just where we're at. What you get? You name me 5 that are 22 than what Clemson has this year.
Well, I think if I was Greg Sankey, I would just say it should just be me in the Big Ten, and we should be the 2 conferences, and that's going to happen too.
It's 12:27 Eastern time. He's getting delirious, and I can see it. He's over it tomorrow, which is now.
Yeah, that's in 6 hours.
Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee, Texas. Heavy hitters.
They did not do a good job spacing this thing out, by the way. I like the SEC people.
What are you talking, dude? You need to go to bed. What
Tuesday is a monster day. Those are monster teams.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
I mean, yeah, that's just a lot for one day.
I got Alabama, Florida, and Oklahoma on Wednesday. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude.
Texas and Georgia to me can't be on the same day.
If you had to choose between and this is like I said, no disrespect, like Thursday's the day you're like,
That's what I'm saying.
Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, A&M.
Yeah.
It happens.
So Texas or Georgia should have been one of them days.
It happens. It happens. But Tuesday, Wednesday, ooh, doggy. Tomorrow's going to be fun. We're super excited. We'll have you covered. Listen, like, subscribe to Take After Take. We will be rocking and rolling each and every day this week with content. And you'll hear from players and coaches and the whole nine. We'll talk about people's disdain for coaches and players and stuff.
No, I like everybody else that's going to be here the rest of the week. So, I'm all right.
All right. Comment on our page. Tell everyone why Brian Kelly's a top 10 coach in college football. But we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll do this again. Once again, Tuesday's headliner, the Auburn Tigers. You got Georgia, Tennessee, Steve Sarkisian, and the Texas Longhorns, who Patrick also thinks is overrated. There's that. But
No, I went on record. I'm all in on Arch.
No,
I think Sarkisian is a little tad overrated. Yeah, and I think he proved that last season with the play calling. But we'll get to that next.
Did they win?
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, they won.
Barely.
They have what roster in the SEC you taking over them? You better not say Georgia.
I mean, I don't think
Texas has the best roster, dude. Stop it.
Yeah, you're right.
They're going to playoff. Like, they roll out of bed, playoff. For producer Pat, because he's lost every piece of marble that he had. He didn't even have him in the first place. I'm Carl Prather. Take After Take. We're back here. Day 2 of SEC Media Days rolls on.